Welcome to AFAX number one stop to entertainment and trend news. Now, American musician-songwriter Brian McKnight was called out over ignoring his biological children from his first marriage. Now, he has 4 biological children. They are his sons Brian Jr. and Nico from his marriage to his college sweetheart Julie. Then there is his daughter Brianna and son Clyde from previous relationships. That makes 4 biological children for McKnight. After splitting with Julie in 2003, McKnight remarried in 2017. His second wife is Dr. Leilani Mendoza, whom he met in 2014. Mendoza has 2 children from a previous relationship, Julia and Jack, and they've recently welcomed a son, Brian, together. But his recent post has called for a serious backlash, with people criticizing him for forgetting his biological children. He was actually trending on Twitter. This is from the Shade Room. So he captioned this, that is their daughter, not his biological daughter, that is. And he puts out, "Today we celebrate you, Jules, on your birthday. Your mom and I couldn't be prouder of you, and I couldn't ask for a better daughter than you. Happy birthday to the best daughter ever. Love you a zillion." Now, this is not the first time that he has basically put out that this is his only daughter. As Jules graduated, you could see him wearing Proud Dad of 2021 graduate. And it's the fact that he put out that this is the best daughter that a father could ever ask for. And people are starting to question, don't you have another daughter? Now, Brian McKnight is very vocal when it comes to who he acknowledges as his children. And as you can see, his husband of Leilani, then father of Julia, Jack, Mateo, and Brian, who was recently born. And so I want us to dive in and see what actually people think about this, because they feel that it is not right at all. And as you can see, these are his biological children: Brian McKnight, Brianna, Nico, and Clyde. These children are not mentioned in his bio. So that you know how much he dislikes his other children, he actually put out that he became a girl dad when he was celebrating Jules, while he had a whole adult daughter. And this is a caption that he had put out: "Jules, I became a girl dad because of you, and I couldn't have asked for a better daughter. Here's to you, Jules, the perfect daughter I always wanted." And actually somebody tweeted this and put out, "He's twisted, talking about she made him a girl dad and he has an adult daughter." I can't even begin to imagine what his biological daughter thinks, or rather sees, while reading all this. That really must pierce and hurt real deep, reading that your dad is very proud of another girl being his daughter, and this is the girl that made him a girl dad. Someone else tweeted, "Brian McKnight said he gonna start back at 1 and you all thought his family was exempt from the cuts too." And someone else shared Brian McKnight's when someone asked him about his black kids, and he puts out "no coloreds." Many people brought up this too, that he was not proud of his black children, his biological black children, while these other children are light-skinned. Someone else says, even if Brian McKnight is estranged with his biological kids, this shit is sick. It screams emotional abuse. It shows his true heart towards his babies that came from him. Sick, sick. And someone said here, "I just learned that Brian McKnight named his newborn Brian McKnight. He has an adult son named Brian McKnight Jr. This man is diabolical." And so the Brian McKnight mentioned in his bio as his son, it is his newborn son, not his adult son. Feels sort of like he regrets naming his biological son that name, and he would wish someone else to carry his name as Brian McKnight, and that's why he named this son Brian McKnight. And actually, when his son was born, this is what he put out: "A letter to our son. Dear baby Brian, every time I look at you and kiss on you, I'm feeling feelings that I did not know I could possess. An overabundance of love between a father and his legacy that cannot be measured. You see, I never was a sentimental man, not until I met your mommy and fell head over heels in love with her. And because of our love for one another, I realized my true reason for being here on this earth, and it's to be her loving, faithful husband and to create the legacy of that love. My namesake, my joy, my baby boy, you. It makes mommy and I so happy that we have given you the greatest gift parents can give their child, saying that not only were you made from love, but that love is everlasting, and that as our child, you are the complete fruition of our love. I promise to love, protect, teach, to guide and comfort you every day of the rest of my life, and after I'm gone, I bestow upon you all of the fruits of my labor as my true heir, to take care of you and yours for the generations to come. You are perfection, my son. I'm so proud to give you my name and just as excited to watch you live up to it. I love you, Daddy. This message, as you go through it, is very, very deep. First of all, he puts everything that he has worked hard for all these years belong to this child. He puts out that this will be the heir. From that statement, he clearly puts out all of the fruits of my labor as my true heir, to take care of you and yours for the generation to come. You are perfection, my son. And he's very proud to give his son his name. And so it won't be a surprise that he already has a will and his biological children are nowhere in it. And this actually got so many people pissed off as to how he's treating his biological children. As you can see, I guess you're starting back at one. Somebody says in 10 years, she will divorce you, wait and see. Someone else says your black kids don't exist anymore. Someone else commented, you didn't feel that way when you had your other kids. What about your other son, Brian? You sang on my voicemail for my husband and I loved you for years. But this is wrong, simply wrong. Heal, sir, and address your blood children. This is so disappointing. Why aren't your other kids mentioned? Somebody says, imagine having the audacity to try and replace a man's family with a ready-made one and taking it a step further by going after his namesake, his firstborn son. Somebody says, I want to judge you so bad about how you are doing your blood children, but I fear God, so I'm gonna keep quiet. Somebody says, namesake, I thought your oldest son was Brian McKnight Jr. What have I missed here? Someone else says, I couldn't date or marry a man that doesn't acknowledge or take care of his first kids. Brian McKnight can go to hell. And I want us to go through a caption that his biological son, Brian McKnight Jr. wrote. And this is what he had shared. I can't imagine abandoning my children, man. It's hard not to imagine the psyche of a man who can truly just turn his back on his actual sons, on his actual blood and creations. It's mind-boggling to me. I don't think there's any situation that merits the way my father has chosen to treat my brother, my sisters, and his grandchildren, one of which being his firstborn son, who also bears our name. It's insane to me to have absolutely no empathy for the type of life be introduced us to, only to become to resent us for that life catching up with us. It breaks my heart, but not for myself, specifically for my siblings and my children. They don't deserve this at all, not open bit. And I'm not letting shit slide, not for 1 second. I've tried my best to take the high road and be the bigger man, and all that positive shit. There is a much bigger issue here when it comes to black fathers, especially in entertainment, that needs to be addressed. I believe there's a serious discussion that needs to be had, and a part of me truly feels like our story is the one to begin the conversation that will lead to healing a lot of young men and women with abandonment issues. It's time to tell our side of the story. Hashtag son of a legend. His daughter, Brim, also put out a statement. As you can see, Brim McKnight, Daddy's little girl was never really a thing to me. Nobody understands what I've been through except for my siblings. Believe it or not, I'm not always the person I seem to be. I'm not always happy, and most of the time I'm battling my own demons, just like everyone else. I grew up thinking that the things that happened to me and my dad's relationship was my fault. I grew up thinking that he doesn't want to come to visit me because he doesn't love me. Constantly put behind other kids that he would call his own, while I'm cast into a land far, far away in the back of his mind. It sucks knowing that someone else who's not even blood related to you comes before you in every single way. It sucks knowing that my phone calls have to go through a stranger I barely know, that my text messages are read without a response, and that my stepmother tells me that they wish the best for me. It kills me to know that it's so hard for me and my siblings to get a word in. Not one word. At a very young age, I was always second place in my father's heart, maybe even third, fourth, or fifth, depending on the situation. My father hasn't called to wish me a happy birthday in years, and yet I sit by the phone every single year hoping that one day his heart will change. I'm so fortunate that I have 2 brothers who are father figures to me, who celebrate me and love me every single day, and that we make up the time whom we lost. The anger and the sadness that I hold in my heart every day over this is sickening. It hurts knowing that my brothers went through this at my age and are still going through it, and that my little sister is going through this at her young age. I don't usually write things like this, but I feel like enough is enough, and like BJ, I want to share my side of the story. I hope that there's someone out there that has gone or is going through the same thing. Some teenage girl who deals with this ish constantly, who can relate to me and tell her side of the story and know that she's not alone. Wow, now that must truly hurt. And like I had mentioned earlier, it must be very hurtful because he acknowledges the daughter to his wife. That is not his biological daughter. And you can see how proud he is, gifting her, saying how proud he is to be a girl dad. She made him a proud girl dad, showing up at her events, moments like graduation. He's there rocking a t-shirt of a proud dad. And I think he has chosen this to be his family. I don't think any backlash or anything that can be put out there, or even him trending, will change his mind as to how he feels about his children, because he has been doing this for a long time, and you can see that through all his captions and how he dismisses the other children, putting it very bold on his profile that he's the father to these other children and not his biological children. But clearly what we get to see is that his biological children are truly hurt by this, and they want to have a father in their life, but their father doesn't want to. I mean, this is just messed up. I really feel sorry for them. We don't know what really happened between them or why he decided to take such a stance. It will be understandable if he has fallen out with perhaps one of his children, but all of his children, and he totally doesn't want anything to do with them. That is really, really deep. Anyway, I don't know what you think about this. You can leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. But that's what's happening on the internet streets. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. For this and more updates, hit your notification bell so you'll be the first to be notified once you have any new uploads. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.